just in Q4, I would say we're looking to make north of 75,000 in profit.
75 grand. Listen, did you just hear what Syed said? Hey, this is going to be a good interview. I know I say that about every interview. Here's what I can tell you about Syed. He's smart, he's sharp, and he knows how to get results. So carve out time for this interview. This one's a little bit longer. Highly worth your time to watch it. It's going to show you how you can maximize your time on Q4. So whether you're looking for an extra 75 grand or an extra 7,500, or you just want some time back, we're here for you. That's what Cheddar Black is for. So, hey, enjoy this interview. Let's dive into today. Here you go.
Syed, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be interviewed by me about Cheddar Black and your past experiences. How are you doing today, my friend?
Doing great. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Well, Syed, I'm just going to jump in. There's 7 questions I'd like to ask you about Cheddar Black and your experience with it. So how many years have you been a Cheddar Black member?
Last year was actually my first year as a Cheddar Black member. I was a little late to join, actually. Right? I wasn't a day one Cheddar Black last year. I came in about a month into the, after it had gotten going.
Yeah, I remember that actually. So what was your favorite part of Cheddar Black last year, being it that it was your first year as a member? What was your experience with it?
Well, I had a tremendous experience with it, right? So, initially there was a little bit of a learning curve for me because obviously I was new to the software as well.
Yeah.
But the leads were great, right? They came in on time, and there was a lot of great buys. Not everything was, so my strategy wasn't necessarily just to try to sell everything right away. Right, I have my own building warehouse, so I was like, hey, I'm getting a lot of great deals here. Some of these things aren't necessarily seasonal. We'll be able to buy, hold on to them, sell them in Q1 and Q2 for a larger margin, which is I was able to do. Which, one of my favorite things of participation. The lead flow is great, and like I said, not everything wasn't just seasonal either. Right? Yep. I really like the fact that there were some things that were going to be evergreen, 12-month products that, so I was able to stock up on some things, right? As opposed to, and there's also some great things that that sold really fast in Q4 too. I mean, it was a good mix of leads, right?
So you found products that you were that weren't necessarily Christmas or winter related, but items that you were able to continue to sell throughout the year, not just during the Christmas season. Yeah, you're not the first person who's told me that, and myself too. I mean, there's items that I replenish, in the spring and summertime that came from Cheddar Black, whether that was a Christmas chunk or even on the Black Friday list. There's lots of options there. How valuable is it for you to have a team of lead gen sending you pre-vetted leads throughout Q4?
It's immeasurable, right? So, I've been an Amazon seller for 3 years, and before Cheddar Black, we were hit and miss. And we tried Keepa sourcing, all the traditional methods that everyone is out there trying to use. I tried VAs. It was very inconsistent, right? So Cheddar Black brought me consistency, right? I mean, I could depend on getting a set of pre-vetted leads, and obviously you're not going to buy every lead that you get, especially when we're looking at the chunks, right? There's a lot of leads that come in that you're not going to necessarily buy, but there's always a good set of leads, right? And there's always something to capitalize on every day, right? Which is something that I lacked for my 3 years until Cheddar Black.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think a lot of people would jump into Cheddar Black and they're kind of surprised, or they're taken back by how much data that they're getting, how many product leads that they're exposed to, and sometimes they even get a little shell shocked, right? And they don't know where to start. And really, what that I tell people this all the time, like, just focus in on a certain niche, a category. What is it that you like to sell, and focus on those items. Like, don't feel like you have to buy everything. The purpose of this program is to overload you guys with leads, so that way everyone can make the decisions that best fits their business and that they feel comfortable with, which is great because it also means that competition gets spread out over different ASINs. I do a lot of shoe and clothing, so for me, I usually gravitate towards those types of items, whereas other sellers might be more into electronics or toys, right? And that's their niche that they stick with. So when you are buying, do you buy directly off the list, or are you rabbit trailing these leads, and using the leads list as a starting off point to find other products?
I definitely rabbit trail, right? So, and there's great leads that you obviously buy directly, but it doesn't stop there, right? There's gems all around. And I've gotten in from So my very first Cheddar Black lists, I got ungated in a couple brands that I then, pursued, and I've been getting, various items from those brands. There's definitely categories I got into. And then there's just some very simple, just, hey, let's look at other sizes and colors of, as you mentioned, clothing, right? So clothing, right. I haven't really gotten into shoes. I do some shoes, but there's definitely, it's very easy to rabbit trail off the Cheddar Black leads.
Syed, you were saying, you said something that caught my attention. So when you said you were buying stuff, not necessarily to sell it in Q4, but you were buying stuff in Q4 in preparation to sell it in Q1, and you had some success with that. Can you share a little bit about that at all?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I don't want to get into too many details, but there's a lot of great products that, are because it's Q4, there's a lot of great sales, things that I would have never found without getting the leads, right? And, you see them, you say, well, I can buy this, really in bulk, if you will, at that price. I can store it, send a few in now, see what I can get at because even obviously Amazon is selling things at lower prices too, right? Like the price history, you'll see, hey, in Q1, this will sell for a lot more. Obviously the volume will be less, but you can sell, you can sell at a higher price, right? So I would hold on to various things. And so there's definitely things in the apparel space that I got, and a couple of other categories I was able to buy pretty heavily. Pretty heavily. I don't want to get into any particular number, but I was able to buy pretty heavily and just store and then send them out in the months after Christmas.
Yeah. I'm glad that you had success with that, because we tell people this all the time. They think Q4 is, ends at Christmas, right? Not the season ends there, but the way we look at Q4, which is why we also offer a leads package that starts in the beginning of September and ends at the end of January, because January is a great month, right? January is still a hot selling month. February is still a pretty, good selling month. And I see after February, things maybe start to slow down a little bit, but there's a lot of opportunity for those who are, during the Christmas season or during December, especially, to look at items and to buy with the intent of selling in the early springtime. For those who are willing to, hold on to those items and be strategic about it, it can be good for sure.
Q4 is a great buying opportunity as well as a selling opportunity,
yes.
Right? I think a lot of folks miss that, right? And so Cheddar Black was, for me, as much, hey, how do we capitalize on the buying opportunities that are out there, as much as, let's flip stuff really quick and sell it. Because obviously, we all know Q4 is great for selling, but it's also a super time to buy if you can, right?
No, 100%. Best sales of the year are happening. Items are going to be the cheapest that they'll ever be. I mean, you could sit there and not focus on trying to sell too much during Christmas and only focus on buying and crush it, right? If you can do both, that's
my plan for this year. Is to capitalize on this buying opportunity. From what I've seen from last year, I want to make sure that I take the opportunity in Q4 to buy as much as I can.
Yeah, I love it.
We're not trying to sell, of course. We're trying to sell, but
Man, this is good. Listen, I'm going to take 30 seconds real quick. You're hearing a lot about cheddarblack.com. What is Cheddar Black? If you're brand new around here, this is our premier Q4 lead package for Amazon sellers. This is, we hand deliver to you the very best online arbitrage leads, spoon fed to you throughout Q4 for a full 5 months. Okay, this is what makes us unique and different from other Q4 lead list providers. Not only do we give you our very best inventory opportunities, but we deliver it to you starting on September 1st, and we run all the way through January 31st of next year to push you into Q1. So we're the only ones that do this, and we got a bunch of other cool stuff that's a part of the package. Not gonna spend a ton of time. We'll have a webinar coming up that you can learn about this. Make sure you're subscribed to cheddarblack.com, and in the meantime, enjoy the rest of this interview.
If you had to guess, how much time do you believe Cheddar Black saves you during Q4?
So I'm going to go daily, because if we start from there, obviously we can multiply this out and come up with the number. But compared to previous years with Cheddar Black, I would say I save about 4 hours on a daily basis in terms of what I was doing. Source. I spent a lot of time, just to try to rub a few pennies together, as they say, right? And that went from, I spent 4 hours, and then it came down to maybe spending an hour, right? Mm-hmm. To research leads, do some rabbit trailing, right? Validate the lead. So I'm saving anywhere from 3 to 4 hours a day
Wow.
So we can multiply that out and say that's quite a savings, obviously.
Syed, based on your previous experience as a Cheddar Black member, how much estimated profit do you expect to make this year?
Q4. So based on what we did last year, and just in Q4, I would say we're looking to make north of 75,000 in profit.
Wow.
And I know numbers vary across the size of sellers, right? For us, that's a good number, right? It's a projected increase from what we did last year. But again, we're not just shooting for the moon. It's just like I said, it's just a slight projected increase over last year's Q4.
What would you say to someone who is new to OA Cheddar and on the fence about Cheddar Black?
I would jump in with both feet. It's been tremendous. Like I said, there's great time savings that come with it. I've come to rely on OA Cheddar, right? So obviously, I've signed up for 2 other lists. While we were still in the Cheddar Black season, as we were wrapping up, I couldn't help but say, hey, these leads are great. Let's see what we can do with more of them. And it's been a tremendous success for me, right? So it's cut not just time. It's not just cut off time. It's given us great leads, vetted leads that we can purchase the leads, do some rabbit trailing. It's really increased our drive. It's really gotten our Cheddar Black. It's really gotten our Amazon business going. Before Cheddar Black, like I said, we struggled for 3 years, and now we can actually say, hey, we have a business, and it works, right? So I can't say enough about how much the OA Cheddar team has helped, and Cheddar Black got us started. So definitely, I would say, don't miss out. Jump in. This will really help drive your business.
That's fantastic. Syed, before I let you go, I do have one little bonus question. I'm just curious, have you had a chance, because being a member of Cheddar Black last year, there were hangouts that we did every week, and we continued those hangouts into 2025. So now we do weekly hangouts with all OA Cheddar subscribers, and part of a benefit of being a member of Cheddar Black is you get access to those hangouts, even if you don't continue with a lead list subscription after the Cheddar Black package has closed. Have you had a chance to join those hangouts or watching the replays? Outside of the leads with Cheddar Black, was there anything that you got of value when it came to the community or the training side of things?
Oh, for sure. So I've jumped on, not as many as I would like to. Actually, I plan on jumping on more, but I always get sidetracked at something. Like today, there was a hangout that I totally forgot about until you mentioned it. It's a hangout. But actually, and I know I stepped away from the question. So back to answering your question. Yeah, so there's definitely a tremendous amount of value I've gotten out of the hangouts, right? So late in December, there was a Section 3 review on my account, and I happened to just jump on a hangout, and I posed the question out there, and the community was so helpful, right? The folks that were on the call gave me some things to look at, some things to do. I followed up with that. I was messaging back into the chat, same folks that were there, and then some other folks that weren't even on the hangout started helping me out. We got through that, quite easily, I would say, compared to some of the other horror stories you see out on Facebook with these Section 3 reviews. Not all thanks to, but in large part thanks to the folks on the Hangout. So the Hangouts are definitely valuable. There's lots of experience, obviously, with these folks that are part of this community. I've gotten a lot of, and that was just the big one, right? So I've gotten a lot of other little tips with this. I wish I could jump on more of these, and I'm definitely going to make that effort. And obviously, there's the chat that also, you can hit the Facebook chat from the Cheddar Black chat. I think that's what it is called, right? Cheddar Black chat. That's been tremendously helpful in answering questions. And so there's definitely a lot of value.
That's fair. One of the things that I think that I just love about OA Cheddar and our community is that we do have a really strong community of sellers of all different, ages and experience levels. We have a lot of newer sellers who maybe they've been selling for a couple of months, and, they're kind of like a doe in the headlights, right? I mean, Amazon is a tough marketplace to navigate around when you're brand new, but we also have a lot of very well seasoned sellers. I'm just thinking about the hangout that we just had. I know there's a seller who's been selling since 2000, I think he said 2009, 2010, right? It's a very strong long-term seller. We have sellers 6-7 years of experience. We all experience it, right? I've experienced a Section 3. A lot of these other sellers have experienced Section 3s or other, run-ins with Amazon. So I just love that we have a community that not only can answer those questions and those concerns, but are willing to help and to offer advice when asked. And you mentioned Black Chat, and like you said, you ask a question inside of Black Chat, especially during like the peak season where everyone's very active, you get feedback and responses very quickly. And for those who take action and build relationships, I know a lot of customers or Cheddar Black members who have created friendships and little masterminds of their own within the community as well. So it's super powerful. I'm glad that you've had a good experience with it. I'm glad that we were able to help during that really scary season, I'm sure. I mean, Section 3 is a terrifying experience to go through, especially if you're alone. So I'm just happy to hear that the community, not even us at OA Cheddar, because it's nothing, we just facilitate it, but the community as a whole was able to step in and be there for you. Well, Syed, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to answer some of these questions that we have and share your experiences with Cheddar Black. Before we end the recording, is there anything that you want to share to anybody who might be watching these recordings?
I'll just reiterate, make sure that you jump in, right? Cheddar Black is definitely worth your while. It'll really get your business going. Don't miss out on the opportunity. If you're on the fence, this is the time to jump in. Definitely go for it. And I thank you for having me on.
Hey, I want to thank you for watching this interview. We've got some more good interviews to come. Make sure you are subscribed to cheddarblack.com to be on the hot list, to be notified when the program releases, and also to be notified of future interviews. We've got a couple other really good ones that are coming down the pipe for you. So for now, make sure you're subscribed. Cheddar Black will be releasing in just a couple of short weeks here, right around the come back to school period, and we are excited for what we have in store for you. So thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. We'll see you on the next video.